study engineering at university and I'm in my third year, and a lot of what I study in third year is applying science to a more practical and taking a more practical approach, and all through these years I've enjoyed learning the scientific process, and it's helped me a lot, and I think that if I learnt it at a younger age I would be better at it through high school and at university.
The MyScience program to teaching science in schools, I believe, is an early introduction to science. Science is fascinating. It surrounds us, it's all around us. And understanding how not just the environment, but how our body interacts with the environment is absolutely fascinating. And as a neuroscientist, I love the nervous system. So the topics covered in this session have been absolutely fascinating. I think the students have really learned more than they would have from a textbook or from other sources, the internet, by actually doing it and seeing what works and what does not work.
The challenges for the children have been in particular creating fair tests, and that's probably where most of the learning has come from. And our next step will be to look a little bit closer at getting them to evaluate their fair test and how they would improve it next time. So being in Year 3, it would be the first time that they've actually participated in the MyScience and created a fair test, really. So that will be really important learning for them for next year.
The children I've seen progress from Year 3 up to Year 6 have shown some very good insights into scientific method. In fact, they spend less time in Year 6 talking about the method and more time about the actual science, which is great. Whereas in the earlier years, you've got to spend a lot more time on the cows move softly type approach. So I think the MyScience methodology has brought to these children a deeper insight into the scientific method, which then allows them to spend more time actually doing their scientific investigation.
My science programs really helped with my learning how to teach science with the children. Definitely how to put concepts down to the basic level and then building on those to get to the higher concepts. I can definitely use that later in both my assignments at uni and as a teacher later in life, not just in science but with all areas of education.
My science program really helped me when we had assignments and everything, because it provided examples on what the lecturer was actually trying to get across. Like in tutorials it made a little bit of sense, but we weren't actually working with the children, and in the MyScience program we got to see what they actually meant because the kids were doing what they were saying. And it also sparked off a whole range of different ideas that could be taken on to more lessons and more concepts that they can learn because of the fact that they came up with the idea and they came up with the experiment, and then they went on to do the research and then actually test these experiments, and then they came up with more questions, and then it could just lead to a whole unit's worth of work based on this one program.
One fear on prac is being able to teach or understand what teachers actually do. As we speak about it in class and that we don't actually get the full experience. The MyScience program has actually opened our eyes to what teaching is in real life. We've been in the raw data of it. We've seen how teachers teach. We see how the students learn. We see how we can apply the basic concepts and principles of science in a classroom. And you'd be surprised with the results you get, and it kind of builds your confidence and grows you a bit more into what you expect out in the teaching world by yourself.
Oh, I feel a lot more confident, and you know the challenge was to keep it simple for them, because their questions are great questions and they can be quite big, but trying to narrow it down for them so it's something that they can manage.
Science has always been a difficult subject for me, so it's made me think more like a scientist and the processes involved in being doing an investigation, doing an investigation that's going to get a good result. So I've then been able to apply that to Year 1 investigations and thinking about the processes that are going to be involved for an effective result.
So MyScience has been fantastic, not only for the children but for me as well. Sending the students out to go and do their background information, and to go and find their materials, their resources, and to write their method. It's been a learning step for them, but it's also been a learning opportunity for me, because I then have to go and do my own background information. I then come back and I bring that to the students, and I'm not only their teacher but their mentor as well. So, it's a big learning opportunity for me as well. Having mentors in the classroom has been fantastic. Sometimes I may not be able to talk to them directly, but their conversations with the students and the work they do with the students is fantastic, because even though I don't have an opportunity to talk to them, I talk to the students all the time, and they, relay that information to me. So it's great for me as well, because I learn from the students because of the mentors.
Yes, as an old scientist, I want to communicate the idea that science is fun. It also happens to be an interesting career if you're lucky.